Have you ever wondered why Indian democracy, the largest in the world, functions the way it does? Democracy, in its purest form, is a system where the power rests in the hands of the people. But Indian democracy, it's a fascinating enigma, a vibrant tapestry woven with a myriad of cultures, languages, and traditions. This is a land where over 1 billion voices find representation, where the diversity is not just accepted but celebrated. It's a place where democracy isn't just a political system, it's a way of life, deeply rooted in the Indian ethos. From the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas to the tropical shores of Kanyakumari, India's democratic journey has been as diverse as its geography. It's a journey that has seen the country evolve from a newly independent nation to a global player. So, are you ready to dive into this enigmatic journey? Join us as we unravel the intriguing story of Indian democracy. Every democracy has a birth story, and India's is as fascinating as it gets. The birth of Indian democracy is a tale of resilience, unity, and the indomitable spirit of a nation striving for self-governance. It began with the drafting of the Constitution, a monumental task undertaken by the Constituent Assembly of India. This assembly consisted of 299 members who represented the diversity of India. Their task was to craft a document that would not only govern the nation but also embody its diverse ethos and aspirations. The drafting of the Constitution was a Herculean task that took nearly 3 years, from December 1946 to November 1949. This document, the longest written constitution of any sovereign nation in the world, established India as a parliamentary system of government while securing its citizens' fundamental rights. It was a monumental achievement, one that marked the dawn of democracy in the nation. But the birth of Indian democracy didn't stop at the drafting of the Constitution. The real test of this nascent democracy was the first general elections, held between October 1951 and February 1952. This was an unprecedented exercise in democratic participation. More than 170 million people, many of whom were illiterate and living in remote areas, were eligible to vote. The logistics were staggering, but the determination was unwavering. These elections were not without their challenges, however. Issues like widespread illiteracy, a largely rural population, and the sheer scale of the country posed significant obstacles. Yet, India rose to the challenge, conducting the elections with a resolve that stunned the world. The successful execution of these elections marked a significant milestone in the history of Indian democracy. The birth of Indian democracy was a journey fraught with challenges, and yet, it was a journey that united the country like never before. It showcased the resolve of a nation to establish a democratic system that would uphold the principles of justice, liberty, and equality. And thus, against all odds, the world's largest democracy was born. Much like a living organism, democracies evolve, and India's has been no exception. Let's journey back to the year 1950, when India took a revolutionary step that would change the course of its history. The introduction of universal adult suffrage granted voting rights to every adult, irrespective of their caste, creed, or gender. This was a monumental achievement, considering the societal norms of the time. Following this came the formation of political parties, the backbone of a democratic setup. The Indian National Congress, a key player in India's struggle for independence, was the first to take center stage. Over the years, a multitude of regional and national parties have emerged, each representing diverse ideologies and interests. As India's democracy matured, significant legislative reforms were implemented. The abolition of privy purses in 1971 was a landmark move, ending princely privileges and further democratizing the nation. The introduction of the anti-defection law in 1985 was another milestone, aimed at preventing political instability. But the evolution of Indian democracy isn't just about legislation and political parties. It's about how the system has adapted to social and political changes. For instance, the rise of coalition politics in the 90s demonstrated the democracy's ability to accommodate diverse voices. Moreover, India has continually strived to ensure that its democratic machinery remains accessible to its citizens. The introduction of electronic voting machines and the nota, none of the above option, are examples of this commitment. Yet Indian democracy has faced its share of trials too. The emergency period of the mid-70s was a dark chapter, but it also served as a reminder of the importance of safeguarding democratic values. Through all these changes, one thing has remained constant: the Indian people's unwavering faith in democracy. It's their participation, their voice, that has shaped and continues to shape the world's largest democracy. Indian democracy, ever resilient, continued to grow and adapt, reflecting the will of its people. Fast forward to today, and Indian democracy presents a complex tapestry of triumphs and challenges. In the current epoch, Indian democracy is a vibrant and dynamic entity. It is a system that has achieved significant milestones in ensuring representation and inclusivity. It's a place where the voices of more than 1 billion people come together to shape the nation's future. However, it's not without its share of challenges. The world's largest democracy grapples with issues that range from socio-economic disparities to the complexities of managing diversity. The robustness of its institutions is often tested, and their resilience plays a crucial role in maintaining the democratic fabric. In recent years, we've seen the rise of digital technology and social media, dramatically transforming the democratic landscape. It has empowered citizens, providing them with unprecedented access to information and a platform to voice their opinions. The digital age has made the democratic process more accessible and participatory, but it has also brought new challenges such as misinformation and data privacy concerns. Ongoing issues like corruption, political polarization, and the protection of minority rights continue to pose significant challenges. Yet it's important to note that these are not unique to Indian democracy. Democracies worldwide grapple with similar issues, and it's through the process of acknowledging and addressing these challenges that democracies evolve and mature. The role of institutions in a democracy cannot be overstated. They are the pillars that uphold the democratic structure. In India, institutions like the Judiciary, the Election Commission, and the Comptroller and Auditor General play a crucial role in ensuring checks and balances, promoting transparency, and safeguarding citizens' rights. Active citizen participation is the lifeblood of any democracy. Indian citizens, with their diverse backgrounds and perspectives, are actively involved in the democratic process. They participate in elections, voice their opinions, engage in public discourse, and hold their representatives accountable. Their active participation is testament to the vibrancy and resilience of Indian democracy. Indian democracy remains an ongoing experiment, constantly tested and continually evolving. So, what have we learned about Indian democracy? We've seen that it's a complex, ever-evolving entity that was born out of the ashes of colonial rule. This democracy, the largest in the world, has been nurtured over the course of 7 decades, navigating a diverse landscape of cultures, languages, and religions. It's grown and evolved, adapting to the needs and aspirations of its people. We've seen how Indian democracy is unique in its characteristics: a blend of federal structure with unitary features, a parliamentary system with a quasi-presidential flavor. It's a mixed bag, a melting pot, if you will. We've also looked at the current state of Indian democracy, its triumphs and challenges, and the dynamic interplay between politics, society, and governance. As we wrap up, let's not forget that at the heart of this vibrant democracy are its people. As we continue to watch this grand democratic experiment unfold, we are reminded that the essence of Indian democracy lies in its people and their unwavering belief in the power of their vote.